I mean, as they say, you may move on in life, even after you, your book remains. I believe in that concept.
Correct. Absolutely.
That's something which you're leaving a legacy, not just a book. With respect to the law students, the younger people, depending on what stage of their career they are in, if they've seen a reasonable amount of work at the ground level from their experience, they can put that together in a particular, with respect to a particular legal subject that they're practicing or they're interested in, they can put that in. If they're relatively new, they can obviously start off with writing articles. It's just that they need that initial push to start writing. And you can start off with articles, blogs, and at the right time when you know that you have the content, you have your, I would say, structure or your thoughts in place, what is it that you want to cover, you can. Subject, definitely something which has to be close to their heart, something which they have some experience in, because if they want to write something which is not academic in nature, some amount of experience would help. But then there are younger lawyers with just 2 to 3 years, 2 to 4 years in the bar, who've also written good books. I would definitely urge younger lawyers to please write. You write articles, you write, if you can put together a book, nothing like it, a few of younger lawyers can come together to write a book. But yeah, it's a very satisfying exercise at the end of the day.
What were the kind of reskilling and upskilling exercises that you took in order for you to be able to put this entire book in place in the first place?
Definitely the most difficult and challenging part is, as lawyers, we tend to be fairly, I'm not getting a better word, but please pardon me for using this, but it is verbose. We tend to write detailed content. We tend to write something which is fairly technical in nature, give case laws, give section references. So originally when the manuscript was ready, the first manuscript, it was actually double the size, almost 1.5 times the size of this. And then we had to cut short, we had to simplify things, merge a few aspects to ensure that if we would have come with our original manuscript, which was obviously well taken by the publisher, but then that would have been, again, just another technical book. So yes, that was, I think after the first manuscript was ready, from there to reaching where the final book went for the print, I think that's where a lot of simplification took place. But also when I was writing along with the team, we were very clear that no, this has to be in a simplified language wherever possible. Even then, we ended up using technical aspects and terms.
In the writing journey, usually people face a few challenges in terms of the discipline itself. How did you go about doing that, especially given that you're a practicing lawyer?
Truth be told, sometimes you have to make sacrifices. And yes, the sacrifice here was the family time, and I would not shy away from saying that. 2019, we started writing, but then a lot of people generally, there's this whole thing that during the pandemic, during the COVID period, books were written, and which is great. People made the best use of time. And for me, as long as they're writing, it's great. Doesn't matter when people are writing. Now, in terms of discipline, I think the only thing I can say is that, yes, a lot of time was taken out, carved out on a weekly basis, a few hours from the work, routine work. I had to cut down some amount of my routine legal work. Definitely, it's a lonely process, though there's a team with you which is helping you do the research and all of that. It is a fairly lonely process. And yes, family life, the time that I spent with my family, it did take a beating. But yeah, sometimes you need to, if you're looking at very passionately to achieve something, it would be too idealistic to say that everything is doable and possible in a perfect way or an ideal way. You have to make some compromises, you have to make some choices. That was a choice that I made, and so I would give credit to my family for that.
Fact that, it was a 1.5 times bigger book earlier. What happens when an editor in the entire process says, nahi, ye sab kato, ye required nahi tha, and you see that all those hours that you've put in to put those additional pages and information into that book have suddenly been chopped off because the marketability of that book demands it to be of a certain size, within a certain price point.
It was difficult, but then had we gone ahead with the original manuscript also, the publisher per se was okay with it. The size was not the challenge as far as the publisher was concerned, but we felt that we are becoming too technical as a team, or at least I felt that, if I may say, the one who was heading the team, that no, this was getting too technical. So yes, that was something that we did. From the editing side, yes, it was a lot of back and forth. We would not agree to a lot of things. We would reinsert a lot of aspects. Now, end of the day, we are covering a very technical subject which connects banking, non-performing assets, law, impact on every stakeholder, the role of the government, implementation, how they, I mean, at least I believe one thing for sure is that the easiest thing in this country or across the globe is to criticize something. You just pick up something you can criticize for 45 minutes. I mean, the lawyers would know this better, but how many such laws are there in this country which have the data updated on a quarterly basis where you can actually start discussing, disseminating, and criticizing it constructively to see what better can be done. Book was released last year in August, September 2023. And as someone very rightly said in the previous session that, see, when you're doing something like this, you're writing a book, or for that matter, you're writing continuously articles, so on and so forth. It's all, these are small, I mean, of course, book is a relatively larger one, but these are pieces of investments that you're making of your time, of your intellect, of your efforts, and these will show results at a point in time. But certainly, it has widened, personally, my horizon beyond just looking at this as a book, merely as a commercial lawyer or a litigator, and has opened up doors where today we are exploring into or getting into other areas of writing. So definitely it does help. I mean, if you're saying specifically from a perspective of brand building, yes, it is a part of it. This is not the only thing. Of course, you need authenticity and integrity, as was again discussed. That's something because people will check. Even if you've written a book, even if you're very active on social media, all of that is there. End of the day, before a client, and today the clients are very smart, irrespective of the sector from where the client is coming in, they would do a check on you. They would do a check on the work that you've been doing. So yes, this becomes a good reference point or a good starting point, but then there's a lot more in terms of the work that you actually put in the courts.